Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to the New Year's Eve episode of The Family Vacationer. On today's show, I'm going to talk to my co-host Danny and his daughter Zoe about their recent dad-daughter trip to New York City. Episode 10 starts right now.
Welcome to The Family Vacationer with Rob and Danny. The go-to podcast for families on the move.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rob.
And I'm Danny.
And this is The Family Vacationer, episode 10. Episode 10, Dan. Can you believe it's already been our 10th episode?
I can't believe it, man. Time flies. It's been a lot of fun, though, so far. I'm loving it.
It sure has. Well, hopefully, if you're listening, you've had the opportunity to look at our Instagram page, at The Family Vacationer, where we post pictures from trips from some of our episodes. One of the the last posting is our Spotify year-end review of The Family Vacationer. So for obvious reasons, our number one market's here in the United States, but I was totally surprised to find out our number two market, drumroll, France.
Yeah, I love France.
And I know we've talked about this privately, Dan, but I took French in high school, and I was just not very good at learning that beautiful language.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to give it another shot, one day to learn French. If only I knew of someone that could, help me with that. Dan, do you have any suggestions, maybe?
Oh, it just so happens that Danny can help you with the language tutor on YouTube. Yeah, man, we got French coming out. We got French coming out pretty soon. It's going to be great. I love it.
The language tutor is also the sponsor of this podcast. So please, please, please go over to the language tutor on YouTube and learn from the best.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, click subscribe, notification bell. You can get those notifications every time a new one comes out. Great lessons. Getting a lot of great feedback from it, too.
Well, all right, let's bring Zoe onto the show. Zoe, welcome. We're glad you're here with us.
Thank you for having me.
So, guys, talk to me about this New York trip. First of all, let's just go over why were you in New York City to begin with?
Well, and my wife always jokes with me that I have like 10 jobs. One of my jobs is I'm actually the worship leader at my church. And I'm just going to admit it, I love the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir. And so every year, Brooklyn Tabernacle does this worship leaders conference. And it just so happens that my daughter Zoe is also one of my alto singers. And so I like to go up for the conference. And I said, hey, Zoe, you want to go with me? And she thought it was a great idea. And so it ended up being time for us to go up and do the conference, but also, just like kind of a lot of great dad-daughter time. So it was a really cool trip for both of us.
Zoe, I understand this was your first trip to New York City. What were your first impressions?
Well, it was all very big. Everything was very close together, very convenient, and it was very interesting to see somewhere else than where I live.
Well, Danny, what's your take on New York?
Well, my wife and I are opposite, right? She does not like crowds in big cities and all that, but I could live there. I've been before. I went 2 years ago to the conference by myself, but I just love being there. I love the city, the lights, the subway. Yes, I love the subway. And I just love everything about New York. I could just go up there and stay long term. But anyway, my wife is not as much, a fan of the big city.
I have to come down on her side. I'm not a huge fan, but I do love all that there is to see and do there. So you mentioned you've been there twice. Where have you stayed both times?
The first time I stayed in, I believe it was a Marriott, right there in Brooklyn. It was about 1 block away from Brooklyn Tabernacle, right on Adams Street. And this time we actually did Airbnb, which was really a different experience for us.
Okay, you say different. Now that sounds like a code word. What was the Airbnb? Because I'll have to admit I have never Airbnb'd personally. What was that experience like? Was it scary? Did you enjoy it? What was it like?
Well, it was an older building, but it was really nice, very, very home-like, very comforting, I guess. And the owner of the Airbnb was very good to us, really gave us everything we needed and more.
And it's like she said, when you're doing Airbnb, you're dealing with people personally, individually, rather than a company. And I think a lot of times you get more of a personal touch to it. It's like Zoe said, this guy, he wanted to meet us outside. He took us in, he gave us a tour, he gave us his code. There were, he went all out. He made sure we had coffee. He had a pack of cookies for us, showed us how to work the TV. A lot of times you get that personal touch of a host. And the building was older, but he really fixed up his apartment, made it look really nice. You really get that person going out of their way. And, partially because they're going to get a rating. You can go to Airbnb.com. You can rate people. And so their feedback is out there.
Right.
So they're going to really take care of you.
So I'm curious. The times that I have gone to New York, I've stayed in Times Square at a hotel. I think it's the Marriott that I stayed both times, where not only are you paying whatever the hotel amount is for that night, but you've got tax upon tax upon tax to the point where your bill by the time that you leave is a lot different than the rate that you see when you're shopping online. So
it is.
Was that the case with the Airbnb as well, or was it pretty straightforward with, this is what it costs and that ended up being what you paid?
It was pretty clear. Most of the time there's going to be a fee, a cleaning or a service fee of some sort, but you're pretty much going to be locked in to whatever that price is. And I will say this.
Right.
We were 2 blocks from Times Square. And when I priced staying at a hotel, it was enormously different. I'm talking a third of the price, easy.
Sure.
For 2 or 3. I think we were there 3 nights, Zoe?
Yeah, 3 nights.
Yeah, and we paid a third of what we would have paid for a hotel, even in Brooklyn, away from Times Square. It was massively different.
Well, and again, the 2 times that I've gone, or I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 times now, but I'm staying for work, and so I'm not necessarily as concerned as I would be if I was just going for, on my own, but still looking at the bill and seeing there's a 9/11 security fee, there's some sort of Times Square fee, and so you're basically paying taxes so that they can build arenas, so they can deal with security, so they can do all those kind of things. But it's interesting that they're more upfront with the Airbnb, so that's something to consider especially when you're going to a huge city like New York City.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just a fan of Airbnb now. So, I'm looking at going to California this summer, and I'm not even pricing hotels. I'm just going straight Airbnb right off the bat.
I was that way with Uber. So, and I'm going to sound like an old man here, but when Uber started to get popular, in my head, and I think we've talked about this on one of the podcasts before, I'm like, why would I want to get in some stranger's car? And I don't know the guy, but of course, it's not like the taxi driver either, but it just, the whole thing seemed really foreign to me. But then as soon as I did it once, I'm like, dude, this is the way. I don't have to, there's no cash exchange. This is the way I'm doing it every time. And from that moment forward, I don't think I've taken a taxi.
Yeah, I love Uber too. I mean, I did price the first time I went 2 years ago. I priced the taxi versus Uber because I just flew into LaGuardia, and I'm pricing what's it going to cost me to go to Adams Street in Brooklyn, and it was vastly different than the Uber price. So, of course, this last time we didn't do either of those. We took a bus and then we got on the subway, so that was easier than all of it.
Yeah. Well, I just imagine I'm going to be that way with Airbnb as well. Once I try it that first time, like you have, you're going to be trying. That's what you're going to do from here on out. So, and I know of a lot of people who have gone the Airbnb route and gotten really unique experiences that way that you wouldn't get at a hotel. So that makes the trip just a little more interesting.
Yeah, that's right.
And it definitely is a gamble. Finding the right person.
Right.
And with us, in our experience, we got very lucky. This person was very good to us, really took care of us. A lot of them are pretty good like that.
Yeah, I guess that would be the wild card. For your good experience, there could be somebody who's like, yeah, here's the key. Good luck.
Yeah, read the reviews, yeah.
Exactly. Well, tell us about getting around New York City. Everybody, says the subway is the way to go, but, we talked about taxi, but evidently subway was the mode of transportation for this trip.
Yeah, it really is. And it's over $2 a ride every time you swipe your card through the little turnstile, but you definitely get a map ahead of time. and map out your trip and where you want to go. And you can get Metro cards that have unlimited rides for a month, or you can put a certain specific amount of money on the card. You can really play it however you want to play it. But yeah, you can get in, and if you know what you're doing, you study the routes, you can pay $275 and end up wherever you want to go just by staying in the subway stations and getting on the right connections. So it's definitely a way to go. You come out, you're right there where you need to be. I just can't imagine that a taxi would be that cheap at all. Plus, you're sitting in traffic everywhere. Traffic is horrible, as I'm sure you know.
Think about the subway in New York. You hear all kinds of stories. So, Zoe, did you feel safe on the subway? Was there ever a time that you kind of looked around and wondered what was going on, or was it a pretty good experience for you?
Well, I thought it was fine. I really enjoyed how convenient it was, just getting out right where we needed to be. And if not right there, we would only have to walk a little bit. And I thought it was very convenient. I felt very safe, honestly.
The only weird part is you have constantly people on there trying to do little performances and get a few dollars, but
Right.
But at no point did any of them get crazy or anything, make you feel threatened.
Yeah, it was very safe. From what I could tell, it was very positive when they did try to get a few dollars. Nobody tried to do anything negative.
They weren't aggressively trying to get your attention and money, so that's good.
Oh, not at all.
So I heard you guys had some free time off from the conference. What did you get to do and see while you were there?
We took the ferry. We got to go see a few sites like the statue.
We went from the ferry to Ground Zero.
Right. Which was very interesting, very solemn, but it's a good memorial.
Yeah, it's really humbling. It's like she said, it's very solemn. You have to just kind of stand there and you need to just sort of ponder a moment, remember all those people. But then we had to do something really important. Remember what we did after that, Zoe? We went to the cookie dough shop. That was
really good.
Yeah, it's called dough.
It's called dough.
DOH, right?
I think yeah, DOH or just DO.
Something. It's just think Homer Simpson. Dope. But yeah, we went there, and then after that we went back up to Times Square.
Help me.
We went. She's trying to remember the whole plan. We went up and saw a Broadway show.
Oh,
we
my
saw
goodness.
Wicked.
That was incredible. As a theater person, that was very eye-opening.
And after that, we went to Rockefeller to tour the NBC studio. So we were up there while they were getting ready to film Saturday Night Live. We were on the same floor with all of them, and got to see a couple other studios. And we actually did our own little mock TV show, which was a lot of fun. That
was really interesting because it gave you an idea of how it all works out and like how everybody works together on it. That was really interesting to me.
Now, was this video? Do we have video of this?
Actually I do, because it's cool because you pay for the tour, but at the end you do this little mock show, and then they just send you a link on your email and you download the video. So yes, I do have it. Yeah, you can see Zoe back there running. You were the sound audio person, right?
Something like that. Sound, I think.
And I was the show announcer. So yeah, I'll shoot that to you.
Well, Dan, I joke you are the king of all media, so you have taken that title.
Well, thank you. It's one of my 10 jobs. Podcast, all kinds of stuff.
So was there anything that you didn't get to do that you wanted to do on this trip?
I would say, I did talk about going to see the Empire State Building.
Right.
We never really got down there, but that was okay. I mean, I've seen a picture of it, so.
For me, I was pretty content with everything we did. There was nothing that we left, and I was thinking, I wish I had done that. I think I saw everything I needed to.
I was going to say, if you're wanting to see the Statue of Liberty, and you're not interested in going and actually getting off at the island, and you just want to kind of get a nice close-up view of it, you should go down to the Staten Island Ferry. It's free. And you get on this thing, it goes right by through the harbor there, And it's about a 25-minute ride. You have to get off. You can't just stay there. You have to get off and walk back around and get back on. But you can go, spend about an hour, and you can go take a little boat ride in the harbor, see a nice close-up view of the statue, and it's totally free.
Well, the thing is, if you find the right day, the crowds are a little bit high, but like we were also, I think that was a Saturday or Friday evening, so that's probably why it was so crowded for us. But there's plenty of room on it, and like my dad said, it is free.
So Zoe, the dad-daughter trip. So what is your favorite part about traveling with your dad? I'm sure you have fun with your mom and as a family, but traveling with dad, something special about dad-daughter trips. What's your favorite part of it?
Well, for one, I basically am my dad in teenage girl form.
She is totally right about that.
That's a little disturbing.
She's better than me. Don't worry. She's a lot better.
I'm just picturing you, Dan, with long hair. Anyway, go ahead.
There are pictures. Oh, never mind.
Oh my goodness. Well, me and my dad automatically get along just because we have the same type of humor, for one, and which is completely ridiculous. But me and my dad have just always gotten along because we have the same interests, the same humor, like I said. And whenever we went on this trip, we kind of agreed on the things we wanted to go see, like the tour at NBC and like all the other sites we got to see and the Broadway show. So we pretty much agreed on everything we did.
I personally just like having, dad-daughter time with both my girls. And I think, I have things that are unique to my oldest daughter, Gracie, and things that are unique to Zoe as well. And, Zoe's right. She is me. She loves music. She loves language. And my other daughter, Gracie, is my wife, Amber, in younger form. They are so much alike. But I try to get memories that I can specifically have with each of my girls. Gracie and I went to Bolivia many years ago when she was younger, and we've done things like that. And I have very specific things with Zoe as well. So my favorite part about it is what you and I talk about a lot, Rob, and that was making memories. And so I just feel like this was something that Zoe and I are always going to have that's special between us.
We'll always remember that trip. It was a lot of fun, and we got to spend a lot of good time together.
A big thank you to Danny and Zoe for their New York City trip recap. And thank you, our listeners, for a fun-filled 2019. Danny and I have had a blast starting the Family Vacationer, and we're looking forward to 2020. We've got some fun and unique shows already planned. If you have a show topic you'd like us to cover, drop me a line at rob@thefamilyvacationer.live. We wish all of you the best in the coming year. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to The Family Vacationer. Make sure and subscribe to hear more of Rob and Danny.